Blitz all night!
Lamar Jackson has been getting all types of praise for his play the last couple weeks, and it's deserved, especially that Monday night performance against the Rams. He was getting MVP chants at the Memorial Coliseum. And he really has. He's been amazing to watch. I want to do a little something different with this video. I want to take a look at Lamar's progression from last year to now, specifically comparing his AFC wildcard game versus the Chargers last January to this game versus the Rams on Monday night. It'll give us a good look for just how far Lamar has come. Let's jump into the film. So like I said, to get an idea of where Lamar's game was a year ago, I wanted to roll it back to this AFC Championship game versus the Chargers. And the first thing I want to look at here is Lamar's overall comfort with the offense. And you didn't have to look much farther than the first offensive play for the Ravens to see that the Chargers were taking advantage of Lamar Jackson's discomfort with this offense. The Ravens run a simple zone read play here that you think would be Lamar Jackson's bread and butter coming out of college, but the Chargers have seen a lot of film. They know that Lamar Jackson is probably eager to pull this ball early on in the game and make an impact with his legs right away. So what do? Joey Bosa baits him into a pull read by sitting down on it. Lamar pulls the ball, and immediately he gets cornered by not only Joey Bosa, but also Derwin James, and is bottled up for a 1-yard loss. Now let's fast forward 1 year and look at the Ravens' first offensive play from scrimmage versus the Rams in Week 12. Very similar scheme here, but with Lamar Jackson having 1 more year under his belt and noticeably more comfortable in the offense, knows he doesn't have to put the whole team on his back. First play of the game, Lamar, give read. Just give it to Ingram. He picks up 10 yards and a first down, and more importantly, sets the tone for a Ravens offense that likes to pound the football. Does this mean that Lamar changed his game and what he's so good at and stopped using his legs? No. Later in that drive, he uses his legs. Same zone read play. He pulls it because Clay Matthews bites on the running back hard and gets a 15-yard gain up the side. But he's more patient now. He's more comfortable now. He's willing to give that give read. He doesn't think he has to put the whole offense on his back. So we see how Lamar has developed his comfort with the offense in the form of patience in his running game here on the zone read plays. Now let's look at his comfort as a passer. So again, rolling it back to the AFC Championship game, we have a 3rd and 5 for Lamar Jackson. It's a simple drop back play here. The Chargers rush 4. But Lamar is obviously uncomfortable in the pocket and is really eager to get out. This play is just a mess from beginning to end, and it could have ended a lot worse for Lamar, but he ends up picking up his own fumble and getting to 4th down without a turnover. Fast forward to Monday Night Football versus the Rams, and we have multiple plays here. 1st and 10, a 3rd and 4, where Lamar Jackson looks astronomically more comfortable in the pocket. Now, this is 100% against Lamar Jackson's instinct as a football player up until this point in his career. He's usually the guy you saw in that AFC wildcard game that is looking to get outside the pocket and make plays with his legs. But here on multiple occasions, you can see him stepping up in the pocket, even facing pressures of 5 and 6, and delivering a strike to his intended receiver. Lamar has also progressed in his ability to read coverages. We'll go back to his matchup versus the Chargers in this AFC wildcard game. We get a 3rd and 5, and Lamar gets cover 3 here. But he's unsure where he wants to go with the ball. Looks like he wants to try and get Crabtree on the deep crossing route, but there's concern about that floating zone defender, and Lamar just doesn't have the confidence, the comfort, or the knowledge of this coverage to be able to throw that ball in there confidently. So he takes off and runs. Contrast that for when Lamar gets cover 3 versus the Rams in the Monday Night Football matchup. A year later, another year of knowledge, knows he wants to attack the safety in the middle of the field in that seam between the cover 3 where it's soft. So what does he do? On the snap of the ball, stares down the safety, makes him freeze. Next, moves to his first progression, which is Marquise Brown in the seam here, and just puts a low, hard-thrown laser right on that seam, and Marquise catches it in the end zone. But it's obvious that Lamar Jackson has been studying his playbook, studying defensive coverages. Take this 3rd and 6, for instance. This is the same instance here where off the snap of the ball, he knows where he wants to go with it. They rush 4. He gets man coverage with 1 high safety. He's going to select the man beater crossing route coming across the middle. And he's going to hit Seth Roberts for about a 10 to 12-yard gain on a 3rd and 6, moving the chains. You see the same thing here on 1st and goal from Lamar. who faces a 6-man blitz on a cover 0 coverage from the Rams. He knows he wants to go again for the man beater, this slant route across the middle. It's hard to cover, and he gets Willie Snead in the end zone here. Now, this is pretty consistent for Lamar through this game. He's not going to be a second progression, third progression, Phillip Rivers kind of guy. You know what I mean? He's going to identify pre-snap what the coverage is going to be. He's going to make a diagnosis for where he wants to go with the football, and he's going to deliver the football to that spot, whether it's cover 3, whether it's 0-man, whether it's cover 1. But contrast that with what we saw in that AFC wildcard game last year. There is just a deficit in knowledge of the coverage. And as his knowledge progresses and his game experience progresses and he starts to break down this coverages and understand the weak spots, it's going to come off as confidence on the field of play. And we see that confidence manifest itself in this matchup with the Rams on Monday night. Now, confidence aside, I really wanted to get down to the brass tacks of Lamar Jackson's mechanics and delivery and the kinds of balls that we're seeing come out of his hand from this AFC wildcard game to 1 year later. Take these 2 plays from the AFC wildcard game. On 2nd and 6, Lamar Jackson is looking to go quick play fake to the left and then hit the skinny slant on that same side around the numbers. The problem is this throw is high and it actually ends up getting tipped up in the air, which is usually a bad thing for the offense, and getting picked off. Now, why does this ball say high on Lamar Jackson? There's a couple reasons. First, look at the height of his elbow. Lamar Jackson has a very quick throwing motion, but on this throw in particular, he doesn't really get his elbow as high as most QB coaches would like to see it. If you don't get your elbow up, the ball usually sails on you. If you get your elbow high, you can usually stay on top of the ball and it'll drive down, which is where you want to be. You want to be on top of the ball. Lamar Jackson doesn't do this here, and the ball sails high. A second thing about Lamar's throw here, and something that's characteristic of his throws throughout this game, is he doesn't like to keep his shoulder closed and keep that front shoulder on the target. He tends to open that up and open his chest up to the throw he's making a little too early. And for most guys, this tends to cause throws to be behind their target. If they don't close that front shoulder, they tend not to lead the wide receiver in the manner they should. And these mechanics issues led to a lot of the accuracy problems we saw from Lamar Jackson during this AFC wildcard game, including this throw here where he absolutely overthrows Mark Andrews on this deep outside line throw. Again, fast forward 1 year, and what do we see from Lamar Jackson but progression? Take these 2 Hollywood Brown touchdowns. We get a drop back that's on rhythm. We get a close shoulder on the target. And from the aesthetics, they just look like more confident throws. He hits them in stride and in rhythm. Now, mechanically, are these throws perfect? Whether he's rolling to the left or he's in the pocket, is the elbow as high as we like to see it? No. But there's something else. There's something else there. There's a confidence, like I said, with these throws. And I don't know whether it's the way he's gripping the ball or just his mindset, but he's slinging it a lot better than what we saw 1 year ago. And I think it's just a confidence thing. Speaking of confidence, the Ravens organization couldn't be more confident in Lamar Jackson. You want to talk about buying into a guy. Lamar played that entire AFC wildcard game after all this footage we just went through of it not being too pretty. He completed 3 passes in 3 quarters. And while Lamar is struggling, Super Bowl MVP quarterback Joe Flacco is sitting on the bench. You get Tony Romo, you get much of the press at the time, you even get the Ravens fans at home chanting for Flacco to go in the game.
Joe Flacco should be coming in at this point, down 17. He stays on the bench. Jackson grabs the helmet.
And I can tell you hear the crowd?
Yeah, the booing.
I think everyone's thinking it, but I can tell you right now is that borderline spot, you got a chance.
But what does this organization do? They send a message. Hey, we ride and die with Lamar. And that's really paid off in spades. And not to rehash, but Lamar almost let a comeback in this game. I don't know if people, turn the TV off, but being down 20 points with 6 minutes and 40 seconds left to go in the fourth quarter, Lamar throws 2 TD passes and maybe would have thrown a third if they had stopped that Chargers offense. He would have got the ball back with about a minute to go. Who knows what would have happened, but pass is the pass, and they ended up stopping him. So the Ravens lose that game. But there's a message here. We're buying into this guy. We are making an investment in the team around him, right? The offensive line, we're building them up. Didn't see him get sacked versus the Rams in that Monday Night Football game. The tight end play, they got 3 horses now that they use to structure their offense. Bringing in Mark Ingram, Hollywood Brown, drafting Miles Boykin. They're setting up the offense for him, right? And this starts at the highest level. Greg Roman is now the OC. And this is the same guy who led Colin Kaepernick's offense when they made those playoff runs. The team is structured around Lamar, and the Ravens bought in on Lamar Jackson. In this breakdown, we've seen the rapid advancement in Lamar Jackson's game. It's quickly become obvious that he put a lot of work in this offseason, and the organization put a lot of work in around him. The Ravens have been and are still 100% in on Lamar. The timing of all this media buzz and MVP talk is perfect too, guys. What has quickly become the most anticipated matchup of the year takes place on Sunday. The Ravens host the 49ers, who are arguably the best defense in the league. Everybody wants to see what LJ can pull out of the hat on this one. Thanks for tuning in for this breakdown, guys. I promise there's more to come. Till next week, take it easy.